p.m. We are at the El Paso County ESD number 2 boardroom. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and prayer.
Bow your head, please. Heavenly Father, we come to you in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. We want to thank you for another day, being alive, being able to be here. We want to pray for our firefighters. They go out and they help the community in times of most need. We look after them, keep them safe. We want to pray too for their families waiting at home for them to get home safely. And Lord, I ask that you give this board and this leadership the discernment necessary to make the best choices for our community and for our firefighters. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Item number 2, establishment of a quorum. We have Commissioner Santana, Commissioner Diaz, Commissioner Avalos, and Commissioner Bernal present. Commissioner Glenn has not made it in. Item number 3, public comment. You must notify the board to speak on certain agenda items. 5 minutes time limit. Public can comment by calling 915-213-3008 with a PIN code of 123-818-076#, or in person with a sign-in sheet. And I believe we have one person for public comment.
Good evening. I'd like to thank all of you for being firefighters. I know it's a dangerous job, and I know there's some that do volunteer work, and we appreciate it because I know it's hard because you never know what's going to happen in any fire. My name is Dora H. Aguirre, and just wanted to come and introduce myself to some of you. Some of you know me already, but I'm running for justice of the peace. And the reason I decided to run because I feel that we need a change. Our judge has been there for 22 years, so I think we need a change. And I worked for the county 30 years. I retired. I worked for the Sheriff's Department 17 years as a detention officer. I was a peace officer. I was also the first Hispanic woman in the state of Texas to be a constable. I was your constable for the Lower Valley in 1992. And then I also worked for the Council of Judges. I was a booking bailiff, and the booking bailiff was for every court has a bailiff, but sometimes a department from other agencies bring a prisoner and they have to bring him in front of the magistrate to get a arraign or a bond. And if they were having a jury trial, they would call me and I would come and pick them up and book them at the jail. And I also I was the first woman mayor for the town of Clint. And I also worked for the Council of Judges in the county. And I just feel that I have some qualifications that are good qualifications. And I've always worked with the public, and I'm humble to think that because you're an elected official, it doesn't mean that you think you're better than anybody. We're there because the people have elected us. And some people forget that the reason we're there is because of you who vote. And I just wanted to introduce myself. If any of you have any questions, I'm here to answer anything. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Aguirre.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Absolutely, yes.
Item number 4, consent agenda. Commissioners, anything you'd like to pull out of consent agenda?
No, sir.
We have a motion.
Motion to approve? Second.
A motion by Commissioner Diaz, second by Commissioner Santana. Commissioner Diaz.
Aye.
Commissioner Santana.
Aye.
Commissioner Avalos,
Aye.
Commissioner Glenn is absent, and Commissioner Bernal.
Aye.
Motion carries. Discussion, item number 5, discuss and take action approving the purchase of equipment for the new pumper for the Socorro Fire Department through Metro Fire. Commissioners, one of the things that we looked at when we looked at the truck that we purchased was the equipment that's going to go with it. We have been using some of the old equipment and some of it is still good, but this truck, since we have a 2-year bumper to bumper warranty, and they also extended the same thing for any piece of equipment that we purchased from them and to include the installation of it. We decided to put the equipment in there. So the equipment is totaling at
71. 71, 135 and 8 cents.
I'm looking at it right now. Give me a minute. I want to read that. Actually, it's 99,733.
Where's the difference or why?
Oh, plus they have it broken down. 12,335. No, this is separate. It's for a different item. It was-
Oh, I see it. Yes.
See anything else? So commissioners, this will be for the truck to get the equipment and then have it installed on the truck by altogether. In other words, when that truck gets delivered, it should be fully ready to go. Minus the radio, of course, because we install those here.
This is a good deal, chief, necessary for the truck.
Yeah, I had a purchasing look it up and it was comparable to what we paid just to get the equipment. So they said right now it's looking like if we're gonna get it from them and they give us in their warranty and they install it, I think it's a better.
So if anything happens or anything breaks, they'll replace it?
Correct, because anything that we purchase is only have a 1-year warranty. If we buy it from them with the purchase of the truck, they'll give us a 2-year warranty on it.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Santana, second by Commissioner Diaz. Commissioner Diaz,
Aye.
Commissioner Santana,
Aye.
Commissioner Avalos,
Aye.
Commissioner Bernal.
Aye.
Motion carries. Commissioners, can we skip item number 6? Mr. Peña said he was gonna be a little late. Can we go into executive?
Certainly.
El Paso County ESC number 2 is now entering into closed meeting pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551071 to consult with his district attorney concerning all matters identified on the agenda where the board members seek advice from their attorney and privileged communications. Today is Tuesday, January 20, 2026, and the time is 6:08 p.m.
Bless you.
Bless you.
El Paso County ESC number 2 has completed its closed meeting. The date is Tuesday, January 20, 2026, and the time is 6:45 PM. Commissioners, we'll just continue while he walks back. Item number 10, take action on Chief Ray Treviso's request for a credit card.
The motion to deny credit card?
Second?
Who was the second?
Yes.
Second by Commissioner Diaz. Motion, I have a motion for denial from Commissioner Santana, second by Commissioner Diaz. Commissioner Diaz,
Aye.
Commissioner Santana,
Aye.
Commissioner Avalos,
Aye.
Commissioner Bernal.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 11, take action on the ISO rating legal status.
Make a motion to proceed as deliberated?
Second?
Get a motion to proceed as deliberated by Commissioner Santana, second by Commissioner Diaz. Commissioner Diaz,
Aye.
Commissioner Santana,
Aye.
Commissioner Avalos,
Aye.
Commissioner Bernal.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 12, personnel matters. Commissioner, this will be a no action.
No action.
The motion for no action. Make a motion to delete this item, Commissioner.
A motion to delete?
Yes.
Second?
Did you make a motion, Commissioner Santana?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner, motion by Commissioner Santana, second by Commissioner Diaz. Commissioner Diaz,
Aye.
Commissioner Santana,
Aye.
Commissioner Avalos,
Aye.
Commissioner Bernal.
Aye.
Motion carries. Commissioners, now we're going back to item number 6. Discuss and take action on financial audit by Peña, Briones, and McDaniel and Company. Go ahead, Mr.
Thank you.
Good evening, and thanks for bearing with me.
Good evening.
I'm Renee Pena with Pena Briones McDaniel. And again, appreciate the chance to provide the service for you for the annual audit. What I just passed out to you is your annual audit for this year. In the front, you'll see a loosely paced paper, at least sheet of paper that looks like this, 5-year summary. If you'll bear with me, I'd like to go over the audit, not in excruciating detail, but enough for y'all to make sizable decisions if you would. Auditing is a trend analysis. How have you done? Where were you and where are you going, quite honestly, because it provides budget for the future. And I'm going to say, look at your numbers. They're tremendous. Forgive my simple English. But 2021 in current assets, which is really our liquidity, current assets, we had $6.7 million. We've basically doubled that to $14.6 million. And this doubling occurred just this past year. Now, it's not like free money came in. Your liabilities also went up. From your total liabilities went from 8.8 to 13.9, but that's about a $5 million increase. So I've got a $7.9 million increase in my current assets and a $5 million increase in my total liabilities. So again, tremendous growth, tremendous liquidity that you have right now. Now, it's not all free spending. I'll show you a while. We do have restricted funds on that. But currently, your total current assets are sitting at 14.6 with current liabilities of 2 million and total liabilities of 13. That sets your net position at $32 million. Compared to 5 years ago, you're 60% greater in size than where you were. And your net position is basically the equity on your house. Pretend you had a house 5 years ago. You've increased your value by 60%. So tremendous growth in this short period, I would say. As you can see, your current liabilities are pretty much consistent. So again, liquidity wise, you're sitting extremely strong. So where's this going? It's going to go to your capital infrastructure, which is growing and growing. So again, with a net position of 32.5 million, well, basically $32.6 million, where did that come from? Well, if you go to the second line down there, your government activities revenue, you brought in from government sources, funds, grants and such, 1,082,000. 5 years ago, you brought in $3 million. So as far as getting outside revenues, you're down a little bit. Where did you spend the money on? Well, this year you spent $9.6 million compared to last year, 8.5, so over $1 million increase in a 1 year period on spending. And I'll get into detail of that in a minute, because I like to say, oh my gosh, we spent another, but it's on public safety. That's good. So we've increased, I would argue, our public safety by $3 million. That's 56% increase in our overall expenditures. So your total government, the cost of running this organization with federal dollars coming in is 8,582,000. That's the extreme left side, third bottom. And 5 years ago, it was only $2.9 million. So again, like huge growth, basically twice as much cost in running the organization as 5 years ago. So how did you cover that? Well, that's where your taxes, sales, and property tax comes in. And your sales and property taxes 5 years ago, were at $8 million. Now you jumped up 35% by $2.9 million, all the way to $11.3 million due to the growth of the community and the taxes, both sales and property tax coming in. And then you've retained of that $2.7 million this year, 2.6 last year, 3.3, 3.4, and 5 million in the previous years of the revenues over expenditures that you've retained so that you could provide for this tremendous growth. So if I'm sitting on the outside, what's going on? Well, we're generating a lot of money because we're growing so fast and we're putting it into the infrastructure. That's your 5-year life in 5 seconds. Let me go over it too. I won't go over too many pages, but if you'll bear with me a little bit. First, it is a clean opinion. We're giving both an audit opinion on the financial statements as a whole. Financially, are they in accordance with generally accepted government standards? Then also on compliance and internal control. And I'm going to say you get a clean opinion on all three. We don't have any findings. We don't have any question cost. We don't have any management comments. In other words, the accounting this year, we're saying is very clean. In previous year, we had talked about inventory and such. We were very happy with all the accounting coming forward. We didn't have any troubles or difficulties. The internal control of the organization is strong, and the compliance with the regulations is very strong and in line. So with all that being said, let me just point out some of the important numbers that I think, if I was sitting on your side, I'd need to look at. Over on page 4 is your statement of position. That's the balance sheet that I just went through for the government as a whole. And you can see on our cash position, last year we had 6 million. This year we have 6.9. So we have an extra $9 million in cash that is unrestricted. We have restricted cash of 6 million for the improvements that we have on a capital structure, which I'll point to in a minute. This past year, of our loans, we went from 29 million to 31 million in our capital assets, net of depreciation. So we started the construction, not completed, or the acquisitions, I should say. And then jumping down below, you'll see again, as I said, our overall assets jumped from 37 to 46. And that's because our total long-term debt jumped from 5.7 to 11.5. So we borrowed money and we're sitting on it at this point, and it'll convert into our capital assets shortly. And down below, of the full total net position that we have of 32 million, you can see we've got investment in capital of 24. We have another $6 million that we'll be adding for the restricted funds. And we have unrestricted funds of $2.3 million this year. That again are unrestricted at this point. If you'll flip over to the next page, I'll just point it again, there's probably 7 or 8 pages just to touch on. What did I mention a while ago on our expenditures? If you look at the extreme left side of page 5, you'll see our public safety expenditures are at $9.3 million. That's a 13% increase over the previous year of 8.2. But again, that's what you're here for, public safety. So I'm going to say, good job. We increased our public safety by 13%. We're up to $9 million in the cost. Then if I could just have you jump all the way over to page 12. And on page 12, what I wanted to point out, actually page 11, forgive me. On page 11, again, well, where are we spending our money just dollar for dollar? And here's a quick recap of your expenditures. Property and taxes. Revenue came in from 5 million to 5.196. Sales tax revenue jumped all the way from 4.9 to 5.3. So good $400,000 increase. That's about 9% increase there. Inspection reviews increased from 854 to 9. So you can see we generated additional revenue on the property taxes, especially in this past year. And then our expenditures, as I said, public safety from 6.3 to 7. Capital outlays, we added 3.8 this year. And then principal retirement of 1.5. So doing exactly what you're quote, quote, mandated to do. A couple other pages to point out over on page 24, if you would, is just to say of your accounts receivable, that's on property taxes. Basically, you're very low on your property tax receivables. Everybody's paying, quite honestly, very much on time. And of your total receivables of 1,800,000, we have a reserve of 271. That's a 15% reserve. So you're rather conservative there, because historically you've been doing better than collecting better than 15%. So I would expect a lot of those dollars to come in. And if you don't mind flipping to the next page, page 25, again, what's critical to us is our capital acquisition. And you can see on page 25, our total fixed assets on the top, and where you'll see our transportation equipment this past year, we bought another $1.5 million. We retired in 92. So we jumped from 27 to 28.4. In our transportation equipment. We've jumped from other equipment of 8.2 all the way to 10.2. So we're doing what we're supposed to in buying the new equipment. And as I said a year ago, in fact, more so now, you have altogether in your transportation equipment, $28,000 worth of equipment, and you've already depreciated about 20 of that. So you're about 68% depreciated on your transportation. So that tells me from a budgetary purpose, as you all know, you're having to replace some of that stuff because it's getting old and repairs are required. So again, that's what's, I'm going to say, useful of this page to identify the age and the capacity of your equipment. And the last couple of pages I want to talk to you about, if you don't mind, is over on page 36. This is your pension plan. And forgive my simple English, but you guys are doing incredible on your pension plan. You are sitting at an excess. You do not have a pension plan liability. You're actually overfunded. And if you look at the back of the book that I just gave you, I gave you 3 pages that I got from the Pension Review Board. In the very back, they look like this. And that's just to tell you, what do you look like, not necessarily compared to your peers, and I'll just, but compared to others. I was going to say nobody's over 100% on a funded ratio, but that's not true. City of Houston, for some reason, is way over 100%. But being at 100%, you'll see that there's only 3 entities in the state of Texas that are over 100% funded. And you're up there. So that's, I don't want to say kind of unusual, but I'm going to use that term. It's kind of unusual. The other page I gave you was and this is just to throw information about your pension plan. And why am I throwing that? I sit on the city employees pension plan. And we're a good 78%. We're happy as a lark with that. We'd like to be over 80. Government, CPAs, anything around 80% at 15 years amortization, we just think you're fantastic. You're at 100%. Moral story is you might want to go back and look at that and say, do we need to be this high? So I wanted to point that out. And again, if you don't mind, flip over to page 40. You'll see your geometric real rate of returns. This is your rate of returns that you've been getting, more or less. And you can see you had 1/8, but these are very good rate of returns. The question I would ask your actuary is, if we've got this generic rate of returns, should I discount rate be at 7.6 or should we, and that's one of the other pages I gave you. If you look at the discount rate of a lot of your peers, nobody's up at 7.6, 7.5 is the highest. City of Mount Poise, we're at 7.25. I audited a lot of not-for-profit, pension plans, and most of them are around 7. It would lower your it would lower your rates if you look over at page 13. Page 43, forgive me. If you were to lower your discount rate by a whole percentage point, which I would not recommend at all, you would actually be underfunded by 347. It still puts you probably at 97% funded. So it wouldn't be a big, but you wouldn't go that far. Moral story is, talk to your actuaries. Should you be overfunded? And by the way, you've been overfunded for like 8 or 10 years. It's on the one of the last pages over on, you don't need to move there, but on page 52, my eyes could work. On page 52, you can see on the line how many years you've been overfunded. Question I'm bringing up because I just don't see it, and you don't see it on your peers, that being up at 7.7, at 7.6 at a discount rate is necessary, and then being overfunded for the number of years you have is necessary. Is there a problem with having a underfunded amount, generally of up to 20%? The answer is no, because we're looking at the future. And if you're underfunded by 20%, the actuary just says, okay, you need to bring in $10 instead of $8. And it's kind of no big deal at that. In your case, the actuary is saying, you don't have to bring anything else in. You can stay flat going up forward. So again, it's just food for thought, if you don't mind. I'm putting my nose where it may not be invited, but I'm saying it would be worth the discussion with your actuaries. Okay?
Mr.
Hope I
Peña.
didn't lose you on that, if you don't mind.
Mr. Peña,
Yeah.
we've got a question. On that, could it be that we're overfunded because we don't have any retirees yet?
No, generally, not necessarily, because again, the actuaries look at your retirement stream. They say, well, when is Tom, Dick, and Harry going to retire? And they look into this over a 30-year period. So generally speaking, that's really shouldn't be affecting it that realistically.
Because most of the staff here is 10 years away from the
Right.
first batch of retirees.
Yes, and again, the actuaries look at that. They look at, again, not just a 5, 10, or 50, they look at a 30-year period with the money that we have today. And if I do a present value of the future costs going up 10, 20, 30 years, how much money do I need today to cover those 30-year periods? And how much cash, how much funding do I need going over those periods? And when they do that, they say, oh my gosh, you guys have, quite honestly, at this point, more than necessary, as long as you keep that same stream. And so again, it is what I'm saying is an overfunding.
Thank you,
So,
sir.
But again, that's why I'm saying, talk to the actuaries. Don't listen just to the account. Okay. All right. I'll close out soon. Page 48, again, for budgetary purposes. You set a budget, you do a budget to actual comparison. And if you look at your budget to actual comparison, you're right in line. The only item that's not there is that you had budgeted for a release of reserve funds, which didn't happen. You take that $1.2 million out of what didn't happen, and you're well within 1% of your budget. So very strong budget to actual comparison on your expenditures. And again, I'll just point out that, as I said before, the last page says that the results of our test disclose no instances of noncompliance, and there were no findings or question cost in our report. And it just because I'm back over on that page 52, on the, well, 2/3 of the way down, you can see the fiduciary, the net pension liability asset. And the asset is in bracket. You've been in a positive position, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19. You went negative by 1,000 in 18, and then positive 15 and 16. So you've been in a quote, overfunded position since 2015 with 1 year of a slight. So it's good, okay? Don't take anything away.
That's when the pension started, sir.
Oh.
2015. So
So you
it's
started-
actually only 10 years old.
Okay, I didn't even realize that. Oh, that's my report, sir. I think it's all good news.
Just
Any
for my own
questions?
personal, can you just tell me a little bit about the discount rate that that you mentioned right now?
Okay,
What is that?
the discount rate doesn't necessarily, but generally it reflects your expected rate of return over a 5-year period. You have an expected rate of return, and then that identifies closely what your discount rate is. So based on your investments that the pension plan is involved in, they're expecting a general rate of return of 7.6% over a 10-year period.
Mhm.
And because of the volatility of the stock market, the ups and downs, generally most pension plans have gotten a little bit more conservative, where they're dropping the discount rate closer to 7%. And as you can see, 1 percentage point knocks off, in your case, well, $100 and some odd $1,000. It's a sizable difference as a result of the discount rate, but it's just an actuary assumption number. All right. But as a result of that, it does dictate what your funded ratio is that goes, to the national market. When you read about California, Caltech, they have a discount rate. I mean, they have a unfunded of billions of dollars. They have a year of amortization into infinity. Well, that's terrible. It means, they're going to have to raise taxes and everything like crazy to ever cover that. We are the opposite. And again, as I showed you, I was astonished by Houston. I don't know what the heck's going on with them. How the heck they're up there, because they're a big city. But at any rate, something's going on. So again, in comparison, though, I'm sure I could guarantee that there's less than 1% of the pension plans that are fully funded the way you are. Okay. And the discount rate, even if you dropped it to, I'm going to say, an average of most of the pension plans, you would still be in that 1%. Did that answer?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
I got a question on the vehicle maintenance, and this is going to be on our page 48. Are we looking at being under, that we're under budgeting for that purpose at this point, or was there an increase on something that we don't know about? Page 48, line number or vehicle
Right.
maintenance.
Well, the answer is generally yes. I would expect that's going to be an area that you're going to have. I would budget more for, because of again, most of your equipment is 2/3 used up. So obviously it's like I've got a car that I expect to drive 300,000. I'm already at 200,000. I'm going to have more repairs.
Can we
I
identify,
think the answer is yes.
are we identifying exactly what might be doing that increase? In other words, do we have some vehicles that we're gonna be looking at?
I'm sorry, Commissioner.
In other words, are we putting more maintenance into some vehicles?
Actually, most of the cost here is not the small fleet, it's the big fleet, which we are replacing. That's why we try to replace one a year of the big fire trucks, because they're hitting the 20-year mark. But even then, we're not spending the kind of money. This is an assumption that he's got here, that we're gonna be hitting that target number, because more maintenance is gonna be required, but when we get to that point, that's when we decide to, I bring it up to you all to dispose of the vehicle because it costs more money to fix it than it is to replace it.
And I think that's where the additional loan this year came into account, correct?
Yes, we took out a loan to purchase that one fire truck because remember we wrecked one, which is getting repaired. And that's why it's looking that way.
Thank you.
Any other
very-
questions, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, well, thank you all. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much for the good news, too.
Okay, I'll take it.
Item number 6, discuss and take action on the financial audit report by Peña, Briones, McDaniel and Company, PC. Can I have a motion to accept?
Before Mr. Peña said this is an outstanding, excellent report. So well
Thank-
done to everybody, all the ladies here and chiefs, everything you guys.
This is definitely a lot had to do with our logistics department. They were on it this year, keeping track of most of the things that we've addressed. And this is the perfect thing for all of them. This is a team effort that happened here.
Did you already let them know? Or-
Not yet, but we will.
Yeah, we
Oh,
know.
yeah, we were having a conversation this afternoon about it.
Kudos to everybody.
Yes.
Thank you.
So motion to accept?
I have a motion by Commissioner Santana.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Peña.
Who was the second? Second by Commissioner Bernal. Commissioner Diaz,
Aye.
Commissioner Santana,
Aye.
Commissioner Avalos,
Aye.
Commissioner Bernal,
Aye.
motion carries. Item number 13, discuss and approve the next meeting to take place on February 17, 2026, at time of 6 PM via web or open to the public in person. A motion?
Motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Diaz, second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Santana. Commissioner Diaz,
Aye.
Commissioner Santana,
Aye.
Commissioner Avalos,
Aye.
and Commissioner Bernal.
Aye.
Motion carries. Adjournment at 7:11 PM. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Chief. Chiefs. Thank you.